Here is all the strange news from the last week that you might have missed. We'll be covering space advancements, scientists observing something insane in the animal kingdom for the first time, a real monster in a little girl's closet, and much more. I'm going to share my screen here and we're going to get straight into it. Talking about the space race. It's getting so insane right now, these last few years, of countries trying to one up each other. And China has just launched Chang'e 6, a lunar probe designed to land on the far side of the moon and return with samples. The far side of the moon is a wacky place, it seems like. A lot of conspiracies are connected to it. But China, all right, they are saying, yeah, we don't care. We're going to go on the dark side of the moon and see what happens. Now, there are stories of there being alien bases on the dark side of the moon, that humanity has been living there for a very long time, and everything in between. Now, it's going to be really interesting to see what the Chinese samples are going to be and if they're going to make that information public. I just want to make sure that have I been on mute this whole time? Gosh, I hope not. No, I think I've been okay, right? Because the microphone said on mute, but no one's been saying I was on mute. Okay, so continuing onward with this, what's really interesting as well is that China also wants to get astronauts on the moon by 2030. Now, does that year sound familiar? 2030, NASA wants to do the exact same thing. And at the same time, China's saying, not only are we going to put people on the moon, our Chinese people, but you know what we're also going to do? Yeah, you heard me right. We're also going to get some samples from Mars and get people on Mars as well during that same time frame in the year 2030. This is going to be really exciting because there is this incredible fascination right now with space exploration, mainly for the commercial aspects of how can we make money in space, right? How can we mine asteroids and make trillions of dollars? Let's be the first person to get on Mars. We've had this war with NASA, with Elon Musk. China's involved with this. And the list can go on and on. And as the years progress, we're going to see a lot more competition when it comes to who can occupy space first. It's going to be really interesting. I'm excited to see what they have in stock. And by the way, if you didn't know, China is not part of the International Space Station. They are their own thing. They have their own space station in space, and they're kind of like this lone wolf here compared to the International Space Station, where you have this global cooperation with the United States, you have Russia, you have parts of Europe, because you have like the European Society on that, and I know that's not the right term, but that's what's coming to mind at this moment. And so it's going to be pretty cool to see how China's going to progress and what new information will come out from them. So that's going to be really, really cool. Getting into our next one here. Oh, and I have to mention all the links of these articles will be in the description box below for you if you wish to read them further. And super fun fact, I also write articles for all the shows that are done right here. So if you like more bite-sized pieces of content, or just like if you prefer reading, check out my website at strangeparadigms.com, or you can find me on Medium. Those links are in the description box below. That place is your friend. Get used to it. Read it often. I post a bunch of really great stuff. All right, next one. This is really cool, actually, because in the summer of 2022, researchers in an Indonesian national park observed an orangutan who treated a wound with medicine, in the sense of like he was chewing up a certain leaf, chewing it up, and then putting it on his wound. Now, while this was first observed in 2022, information is just now coming out from this observation. Papers have been written now, and it has become public knowledge. This is the first of its kind where scientists and zoologists have witnessed an orangutan applying medicine. It's not just, you know what, it'll heal when it feels like the human body's a super cool thing. No, this orangutan right here took the initiative to make sure that his wound would heal faster. And I honestly didn't actually want to show the wound. I thought it was kind of grody for some people, but pretty much he had like a flesh wound just right below his eye. A good chunk of his flesh just came totally off in a battle that he had with another orangutan in the Indonesian National Park. What I love about this is obviously it's a first of its kind observation when it comes to orangutans, but also we have this idea due to Darwinism that we have originated from chimpanzees. And when we look at all these other monkey species, and I'm bringing in the orangutans in here, it demonstrates that sometimes we don't give animals enough credit. They are super intelligent. And not only that, new science has come forward that bugs, smaller animals that we thought had no sentience, no souls, nothing like that. Scientists are beginning to say, you know what? They have memory. They're able to kind of figure out some patterns depending on what animal or bug we're talking about. And this goes back to ancient thoughts, ancient times, where people say everything has a sentience to it. And we can actually bring in the Shinto religion that has been practiced in Japan for thousands of years, that rocks have sentience, plants, trees, and the list goes on and on. Everything does. And scientists are kind of thousands of years later, very slowly, getting on the bandwagon and beginning to realize this similarity through their research and data collection. So next time you step on some grass, say, hey, sorry, dude, and then continue forward. We are speeding through these and I am loving it. Okay, here's another image of an orangutan. And I just learned for the first time, actually, thanks to TikTok, is that in Australia, they call orangutans rangas. I didn't know that. And I was like, this is so cool. Why can't the United States adopt that slang? Oranga. You know what? It's cooler than a cowboy wrangler, right? That is so American. That in Walmart, right? Now, calling it oranga, if you're from Australia, you are super cool to call it something like that. And I know we have Tyler in the house from Australia, and he can probably comment on that if that is consistent across many parts of Australia, or if it's only a certain slang that's only used on one side of Australia. Oh, here we go. Tyler says, haha, we call them redhead rangas. The more you know. That is super cool. We need, guys, everyone from the US, start adopting that. It is so cool. So this next one is actually pretty freaky. And it's about, okay, let me actually preface this. Let's back it up just for a moment here. When you were a child and or you have small children now, did you fear or do they fear looking in the closet at night? That door needs to be closed before they go to bed because a monster could come out and eat them or take them through a demonic portal or who knows what else. I've been there. I remember being a child, and sometimes I still feel like I am. And when that closet door was open, my imagination would run wild with all of the scariest creatures that have ever lived, like flying cockroaches coming out of that closet and then just grabbing my feet and legs and then pulling me under into some crazy dark realm. Those were my thoughts. And sometimes the closet door is open, man, I'm closing that so fast because that inner child, that fear is there. I also have a huge fear of walking through a hallway with no light, like no flashlight, nothing. I'm always feeling like something is right behind me just chasing me down. Like that is one of the very few amount of fears that I have. Long dark hallways, hard pass without a flashlight or another person that I trust with me. Okay? Well, here in Charlotte, North Carolina, there is this little girl living in a 100-year-old farmhouse with her family, of course, not just her by herself. And she had this huge fear of her closet, always hearing this humming sound. And she was so scared to go in it. She was telling her parents, I cannot sleep in this room. I cannot do anything. Can you tuck me to bed? Can you lock the closet? I'm never going to go in there. Never going to place any of my clothes or toys in there. Let's move out. Come on, guys, let's go. Now, these parents, they put all of their money into this house and they said, Look, Sweet Pea, there are no such thing as monsters. How many times have we heard that? And they're wrong. Well, aside from that, they said we put so much money into this. No, don't worry. I will open the closet and check it out for you, just like in the movie Monsters Inc. And they would find nothing. But the days would progress onward and onward with this humming sound coming out of the closet. And this fear was just building and building up in this small, tiny girl. Her parents weren't listening to her, as we hear in every single kid's movie where the parents are lame and the kids are actually in tuned to the cool stuff and the scary stuff, which isn't actually true. But some parents like to play that role of being dull, boring, and not asking questions or being curious. So after some time of this girl just not wanting to sleep in this room, they actually do a better investigation other than just walking in and being like, nothing to see here, sweetheart. Turns out, another very scary picture. Turns out she had 50,000 bees in her closet. What is scarier? Riddle me this, Batman. What's scarier? A imaginary monster that will just haunt your brain, or 50,000 bees? Pick your poison here. Both are terrifying, and this right here is making international news. You can find it almost anywhere. This storyline is just blowing people's minds because there is this level of fear of bees. Now, it's not as scary as spiders. Imagine just like 1,000 eggs when they all hatch. Nasty stuff. But here with bees, I can understand the humming sound now. It's starting to make sense. And I am pretty darn scared. So turns out, it was actually found using a thermal camera because it was just kind of right in between the walls. There wasn't this hive right in the corner of her closet near her clothes. It was just kind of, it was there, but it wasn't there in sight. And so turns out it wasn't 50,000 bees. No. My apologies for making that incorrect statement. It was 60,000 bees, and 100-pound honeycomb have been extracted so far. Yes, you can have some delicious honey, but is it worth having a bajillion bees in your home? Okay, pick your choice, pick your poison yet again. I think if you were to ask me, which I don't know if you are, but I'm going to tell you anyway, that's pretty scary. And it was like practically $20,000 in repairs due to the damage caused by the bees, which their homeowner's insurance won't cover. Shocking. Because it could have been preventable pest-related damage. When has the homeowners association or insurance ever come in clutch? Tell me. A time where you were like, hey, I'm having this issue and I'm paying you for it. Can you cover it? Write it down. Tell me, because those moments are very, very rare. And here they didn't want to do it either. Satyam says, make an international union of paranormal research organizations. It seems, and I feel like there is one, but it's probably not well known because obviously the name is not coming to me. But yes, there needs to be one made if there isn't already, but I feel like there is. And I think someone might have the answer to that. And thank you so much, by the way. So I did ask you, those listening and watching, pick your poison. Would you rather have an imaginary monster or maybe even a real monster or 60,000 bees in your closet? Which one would you pick? And I'm going to go through the chat and see which ones you would choose. Yeah, hides. Yeah, that's some legit stuff. Android says closet equals portals. Monsters Inc. was right. Man, such a good movie. And I really did like Monsters University as well. I just thought it was really fun. Now, I do have a soft spot for kids' movies. They've gone downhill in the last few years. Okay. But I am excited for the newest movie of Inside Out, where Riley is just kind of going through that angst stage, because I think a lot of us can really relate to those moments, or you're seeing your kids or any family members going through that right now. So I think that movie is going to be really cool. But aside from that, kids movies they're just not as good as they used to be. Brown says bees are cool. Bees are cool, okay? We need them to survive. The bee movie gave us a great example of that. If we were to take them all away, then there would be no pollination whatsoever, yes. But to have 60,000 in your home, and the sound of bees and the humming and like the wings flapping, You can only handle so much of it, and then it kind of just makes your skin crawl unless you're a beekeeper. Okay, you're an exception, you're a very special breed. But everybody else, most of us do not have like insect bug tolerance. Yeah, Joe, free honey. That's true, but that's only if you actually know what you're doing because you have to sedate bees in order to collect their honey. You can't just be like, hey guys, what's going on? And then put your hand like you're Winnie the Pooh or something and go for that honey. You can't. You can try, but there will be significant consequences there. P says, I'd rather have the monster than 50,000 bees. Yeah, I think some of us might. Ooh, Greg says, I'm allergic to them. Ah, dude, that's rough. That's scary. What's even scarier, and I've heard this before, but what I think is really scary about being allergic to bees is that you do not know you're allergic until you get stung, and then it's almost too late. You got to be quick with an EpiPen. You got to call 911. You got to have someone in the vicinity that knows what they're doing with a bee sting. I think that is just so scary. Now, that could be the case for anything that you're allergic to. You don't know you're allergic to it until you have it in your body. You ingest it, you get stung by it, whatsoever. So I've never been stung by a bee. Thank you very much. But I do have that slight fear of like, oh my goodness, what if I am allergic? So I'm sorry, Greg. That's pretty scary stuff. John says, busy bees. Yeah. Oh, Marty, serious question though. They counted all the bees. That's a legit question. And I guess if you're a beekeeper or one that takes out bees, you can kind of maybe guess how many they are. Maybe they do count them. I am not sure how that works. And I am going, you know what? I'm gonna ask a beekeeper on that. I'm gonna say, hey, buddy, tell me what's up because beekeepers have the best honey. Never. And this is a fact. You can quote me on this. Stop buying honey from the grocery store. It is so watered down. They add extra sugar to it. Buy it from the farmer's market, from someone that's a beekeeper collecting that honey. There is a significant difference in taste, in consistency, and well, even if you buy like the raw organic honey at the grocery store, I've done the comparison of the two. Buy your honey at the farmer's market. Oh, it's so good. It's so much better. Satyam says, thanks very much. Great scientific research and disclosure of paranormal because people were suffering from paranormal, but no one was believing them. So your research will bring them justice. Thank you for that. And the great thing about these kinds of shows that we are covering together here is that we're able to stimulate each other's minds with your comments, with the stories that I cover. And it's a place where a lot of like-minded people can come together and share their experiences, share their thoughts, their opinions, which I do have a Discord server with 3,000 other like-minded members where you can share your thoughts, your experiences, and more. That link is in the description box below. And I know one of my amazing moderators will share that link for you because it's a great resource. It's completely free. You have nothing to lose, and you can speak with people that may have had similar experiences or thoughts such as yourself. Okay, I got one more for you, and I'm loving the live chat. You guys are so awesome. Tana says, local honey for the win. It's a game changer. I'm not even joking with you, and it's almost the same price, if not maybe a little bit cheap from the farmer's market. Like it's worth your buck. If you like honey, stop buying it from the store. All right, I got one more for you because Boston Dynamics, we've covered them a few times, I think consistently over the last few weeks, talking about robot dogs, but now they have this new one and this is going viral. Like they just made a video about it, I want to say 3 or 4 days ago, with their new dog called Sparkles. So right here, here we got Spot. That sounded like a really awful like New York accent. Please forgive me. So you have Sport right here, and then you have Sparkles. And what we're looking at here, this is not AI generated. This is an actual video and a screenshot of the video of their robot dog covered in fur. This is the future. And while people are freaking out about this, they're like, why would you make this metal demonic dog with fur? In all reality, which one would you prefer? Would you rather have Sport or maybe even Aurora that we're seeing now? Or would you kind of want one that's has a costume to it. Let me give you an example of this, okay? Because some might say, oh my gosh, that's totally creepy. People, your average person, all right, they love those mascots, how to be for sport, usually for sports, right? And we all know, except tiny little children, that there is a person in that mascot and they are sweating. All right, they are sweating like they are a sinner in church, but we love them. We're like, oh, they're so fun, they're so cute, even though we know what's behind it. It's the same thing with this. We know it's a robot dog, but we put a little cute costume on it, and it's going to begin to gain endearment by people, and people are going to have this dilemma of, should I get an actual dog, have to take it out no matter the season, snow, rain, tornado, and feed them hundreds of dollars worth of food and take them to the vet, or can I have a similar loyal dog that will have heightened security and I only have to oil it from time to time and maybe take it to a mechanic, but there's no food, there's no having it to walk and pick up its fecal matter? Do you see what I'm saying here? People are at some point, if they're not doing it already, balancing the pros and cons. We know that the Alaska airport is already having their robot dogs that are going to be doing security around the area to help wildlife not get near airplanes and their engines, to protect the wildlife and also to protect the planes. It's already going into action, and it would be probably a little easier on the eyes if they had these little weird looking blue costumes than looking like something out of Hellraiser. Okay, P Dubs is asking a legit question. Does the tail wag? It does. You can find the video on the Boston Dynamics YouTube channel. It does. And this is a whole synchronized dance of how cute this dog is, wagging his tail, moving around, doing the whole sit and roll over kind of deal. It's our future. There is no going back from this. And I want to see how they're going to make one for cats, because cats, all right, they are mischievous little buggers. They really are. Dogs are loyal. They love you no matter what, as long as you feed them. Cats, you have to gain their love and loyalty, and it is not easy. Sometimes it is, but it usually isn't, because they don't care about you. It would be rather intriguing to see if they're going to make a robot cat with all of the same mannerisms. I'd like to see one of those. To be real, to be honest. Yes, Marty, I it does. It does. It's pretty cool stuff. Yes, I think it was last week, right? We actually covered another robot dog, but it's a flamethrower called Terminator, and it's going to be made open to the public soon for 10 grand, and it's meant to help regulate forest fires, melt snow, a little bit of entertainment. Well, that's not going to happen. There's going to be so much outbreak with fires all of a sudden because of that dog flamethrower. Now, if you put a cute little costume on it, people will not know what hit him. Kind of weird. It's a little much. Oh, here's another image here of it kind of sitting down. You have these creepy little legs, but for those watching this on a video platform, and if you're listening to this on a podcast, that link is below. If you look at this image right here on screen, which one would you prefer to casually see around? And neither is not an option. It's one or the other. So you got Spot right here looking like some kind of serpent dog ready to just attack, or this costume blue dog that might say, oh, hello, I would like some treats. And then you feed it, what, like oil pellets or something? People are going to pick the furry one because it looks kind of like a mascot, right? Android says without the mascot costume. Chucker says dog. Javier says serpent dog. I like how we're calling it serpent dog. That's actually really funny. It says here by Ed, my dog can sit prone just that way. I would hope so. Let's see. Jazz says, Spot is not trying to trick me. Maybe. Blue Dog, just know sparkles is more appealing visually. It is. And actually, let me provide you another example on this, because visuals really, really matter. And this is most prevalent, not most prevalent, but it's easier to collect data on in your day-to-day life with food. Something can look so nasty that your brain is going to say, it's going to taste gross too, but then, like, the flavor is there and you say, whoa, hold up a second. This is also why a lot of chefs want their plates to look good before they put them out on the floor, because it's going to make a significant difference on how they evaluate the meal. It's the same thing with plates. People prefer white plates over ones that have color or pattern, because it affects, and that's in quotation marks, it affects your palate, because your brain is saying one thing, your taste buds are saying another. And visuals are very important. And we're living in a world right now where it's everything. Video is taking over the world. Pictures, we had them for about 200 years or so, give or take. Now pictures are not doing the same. They're not getting the same traction as videos are. And visuals are really important. So yeah, I think the mascot dog is going to do kind of well. Now we have Ches bringing in the facts that cats are better than robots. I mean, without a doubt. It's a fact. Very cool stuff. Out of all the articles that we covered today, which one was your favorite? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know in the comments as well. These links will be in the description box below, and I also will write an article on this for you. And I'm really excited for what the future holds, because I'll be adding a lot more videos here, a lot more really exciting content. And I have another channel called Factsophical, where I share with you really fun, quick facts that you can use to impress your friends, impress your boss, make you look really cool. And let me tell you this. When I was younger, I used to buy all of these fact books, hoping to impress my friends and to make more friends. And did it work? Heck, yes, it did. And so for myself, and I think for a lot of other people, we just have this fascination with just learning random things. For instance, it takes 90 minutes to boil an ostrich egg. When will you need that info? Who knows? But I've had that in my brain for at least the last 12 or 13 years. And it's always been there. And that is my go-to fact to say, whoa, Cristina, are you okay? Why do you have this in your brain? And the question is, I don't know, but one day I'm going to need it. I'm going to need it one of these days. And now you know. That is it for today. I will see you next time. Be safe. And remember, keep your eyes on the skies. If you enjoy the strange and the mysterious, UFOs, the paranormal, and cryptids, this channel is for you. So make sure to subscribe, as I do 3 videos right here every single week, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss any of the bonus content I post right here.